Ron DeSantis is the chief culture warrior on the right. He's always leaning into culture war battles, whether it's trans issues or gay issues, aspects of COVID. Well, here we have a story that sort of exposes what his real game is. As he's distracting people with the culture war stuff, it's business as usual on the economic front, deeply corrupt and screwing poor and working people. While Ron DeSantis is fighting culture wars, millions of Floridians are losing their health care. The Florida governor's record of opposing Medicaid expansion and other initiatives to expand coverage deserves more attention than it's getting. So here's what Jonathan Cohn says. Florida Governor Ron DeSantis keeps making news with his self-described campaign to fight woke ideology. The latest headlines came about 2 weeks ago when the Republican announced that he was prohibiting public high schools from offering a new advanced placement course in African American history. The course, his administration explained, lacks significant educational value. The announcement thrilled his supporters on the political right while infuriating his critics on the left. It's safe to assume these were precisely the reactions that DeSantis wanted because they elevate his national profile and improve his chances of winning the 2024 Republican presidential nomination, which, as you may have heard, he is likely to seek. But DeSantis has some other governing responsibilities too. One of them is looking out for the health and economic well-being of Florida residents, including those who can't pay for medical care on their own because they don't have insurance. Florida has quite a lot of them, nearly 2.6 million as of 2021, according to the most recent U.S. Census figures. That's about 12% of its population, which is well above the national average of 8.6%. It's also more than all but 4 other states. So they are the 4th worst when it comes to health insurance coverage. They are the 4th worst. Now, they go on to explain here that during COVID, the federal government took some steps, did an initiative where they were like, we're going to give you the Medicaid, we're going to give you expanded Medicaid funding, and you just have to not kick anybody who's already on Medicaid off of Medicaid, and you get that expanded Medicaid funding. And since we're under like a COVID emergency federally, this is how we're going to give more people some health coverage. So that is now running out. Now COVID, they say it's officially over, according to the Biden administration. And so they're unwinding some of the emergency measures that were in place. So then now we're left with a situation where Ron DeSantis would have to approve the Medicaid expansion, which was part of originally Obamacare, which is like, okay, we're going to, instead of people at a certain income line and below getting Medicaid, we're going to raise that cap a little bit. So now more like lower middle class people can also access Medicaid. Well, Ron DeSantis has said, I'm not doing that. And in effect, that kicks 1.75 million Floridians, working class Floridians, off of Medicaid and takes away their health insurance. This is something he's actively deciding to do right now. Kick 1.75 million off of Medicaid. All he'd have to do is say, yeah, we want to do the Medicaid expansion, and then the federal government matches the funds. He's saying, no, we're not going to do that. And then they go on to explain his record. Ron DeSantis used to be in Congress, and he was such a hardliner on healthcare. There was one of the repeal bills, because the Republicans tried to repeal Obamacare like 60 times or something crazy. One of the repeal bills came to his desk, and DeSantis goes, I'm not going to vote for this one because this keeps in place some protections for people with pre-existing conditions. And so he voted against that one. Then he voted for the Obamacare repeal bill that said, we're also going to get rid of the protections for people with pre-existing conditions. This is extremist stuff, man. This is like, remember the old Alan Grayson, a congressman, ironically from Florida back in the day? He got in trouble when he said the Republican healthcare plan is don't get sick. But if you do get sick, die quickly. Like, that's what Ron DeSantis' plan actually was. Try to repeal Obamacare. Nope, you better go further. Get rid of the protections for pre-existing conditions. We want to get rid of that too. And now rejecting the Medicaid expansion. Damning 1.75 million Floridians to no health care. This is who the guy really is, man. Standard establishment Republican, a cuck to the health insurance industry, a cuck to the lobbyists in Wall Street. was not in favor of raising the minimum wage, told Florida voters to not vote for a direct ballot initiative that would raise the minimum wage, not in favor of legalizing weed, and now kicking millions off of their health care. Not good. Now, my message to the Democrats and my message to the media is this. I get talking about the culture war stuff. It makes sense, especially when it's as crazy as banning an AP African-American history course. Like, you could talk about that. But also, don't totally disregard and ignore his economic record. Because that's the stuff. That's his Achilles heel. That's his Achilles heel. That's the stuff where everybody would agree. This is crazy. This is crazy. You're going to kick 2 million people off their health insurance? So, I won't hold my breath, though. Because the media doesn't like to talk about stuff like this, even though they should. If you want to see me and Crystal Ball interview legends like Noam Chomsky, Cornel West, and more, subscribe to Crystal Kyle and Friends on Substack. $5 a month gets you the video version a day early. Remember, we take 0 ad dollars for this podcast. Or you can sign up on Substack for free and get the audio version a day later. Link in the video description box below.